Welcome, my radiant Leo souls, both the seasoned lions who've been riding this cosmic wave with me and the curious new cubs just finding their way to our den. You've just stepped into Golden Fortune Leo, where astrology isn't just a forecast, it's a mirror, a flashlight, and occasionally, a divine slap on the back of the head when we need it most. As someone who has spent more years decoding star charts than most people have spent choosing a favorite streaming service, let me be clear, this weekend's reading? It's not just interesting, it's pivotal. Right from the top, the number 1 made its grand entrance, and trust me, that's no coincidence. In numerology, and yes, I cross-reference these things like a PhD thesis. 1 represents leadership, invention, the birth of a new path. So if you've been pacing the kitchen floor wondering whether to send that bold email, start that passion project, or pitch your idea to someone who could change your life, this is your green light. Not a flickering one either. We're talking stadium bright, Vegas-level illumination. The cosmos is literally telling you, you're not waiting on permission, you're redesigning the blueprint. Then, as if spirit wanted to sweeten the deal, in floats the angel of happiness. Card 15. And let me tell you, happiness in the tarot is never passive. It's not the universe handing you balloons and saying, "Congrats, you survived another week." It's a call to claim joy, to lean into that ridiculous, audacious thing you've been secretly daydreaming about. For some of you, this weekend carries the strange, electric feeling of wanting to apply for something that seems out of reach, maybe a casting call, maybe an online submission, maybe just finally putting your name on the board. The fact that this came through so vividly tells me one thing: someone out there watching this has been holding back a desire because it seemed unrealistic. Spoiler alert, it's not. And if you needed that final nudge, here it is. If your soul lights up and your ego breaks into a nervous sweat, congratulations, that's not fear, that's alignment. You're not off course, you're just stepping into uncharted territory where your power actually lives. Now, let's talk about one of the most sacred and quietly powerful parts of this reading: Archangel Sandalfon stepping in with card number 22. Now listen. As someone who has studied esoteric archetypes, Jungian psychology, and spent more hours in meditation halls than I care to admit, I don't say this lightly. Sandalfon doesn't just drop by for casual vibes. His presence means something deeper is at work. This isn't your average celestial visit, this is a full-on spiritual cosign. And when the rainbow bridge appears, that's your spirit team, your ancestors, your guides, maybe even that one grandma who always smelled like lavender and had zero tolerance for your excuses, letting you know they've been listening. If you've been lighting candles, whispering wishes into the dark, praying through clenched teeth, or yes, even ugly crying into your favorite throw pillow, I've got good news, they heard every word. But of course, when spirit shows up with reinforcements, it's usually because something in the psyche is ready to shift. And that brings us to what I like to call the mental dust storm portion of the weekend. Enter the Dark Thoughts card from the Quantum Oracle. This one doesn't pull punches, it's the cosmic equivalent of your therapist saying, "Let's talk about that pattern you keep pretending isn't there." Old fears, guilt loops, worst case scenarios, they might start playing on repeat. It's not a punishment. It's a spotlight. And as any seasoned meditator or Leo with a history of overanalyzing can tell you, overthinking won't get you out of the maze, it is the maze. The only way out is awareness, not another lap around the same spiral of doubt. And if you're wondering whether the universe is actually nudging you in a specific direction, watch for the signs. Spirit's got receipts this weekend: coins on the sidewalk, harps in random commercials, rainbows in the least expected places. And no, I don't mean symbolic coins, I mean literal change. Like dimes in parking lots, nickels in weird corners of your house you haven't cleaned since Mercury was last in retrograde. These aren't accidents. They're tips from your spirit crew. So if you feel the urge to dive into a sound bath, or suddenly notice you're surrounded by shimmering synchronicities, don't second guess it. Just smile, say thank you, and keep walking. You're being led. Now here's where the real work begins, Leo, not the kind you clock into, but the kind that happens between the ears and behind the rib cage. This part of the reading lays out your mental terrain like a well-lit stage, and you, my fiery friend, are both the star and the director. Let's start with the Eight of Swords, a classic card of mental entrapment. No, it's not that the world is against you or that fate is being cruel. The real prison? It's made of your own thoughts. And here's the kicker, it doesn't even have a lock. The moment you realize the door was never actually shut, that's where freedom begins. Then in walks the magician, and suddenly, it's like Spirit hands you the keys and says, hey, you built this. Which means you can rebuild it. You, Leo, are the alchemist here. The creator. The pull myself up by the solar plexus kind of hero. The magic is and always has been you. But just when you think you're making headway, here comes the Nine of Swords, dragging along your midnight existential crises like unwanted baggage at a spiritual airport. Let me tell you this as someone who has studied dreams, cognition, and had more than one late-night chat with my ceiling fan. Night thoughts lie. They're loud, dramatic, and often sound like a Shakespearean monologue, but they're rarely rooted in truth. And just as the inner drama peaks, the world steps in like the wise old monk who's been watching you spiral and gently says, let's wrap this up, shall we? This is closure, Leo. This is the end of one loop and the beginning of a far better one. The energy says you're not just closing a chapter, you're republishing a whole new book. And yes, I'm bringing the train metaphor back one more time. Because thoughts? They're like passing locomotives, roaring, distracting, and not all headed to places worth visiting. You don't have to hop on every one just because it whistles. So, ask yourself, what are you ready to build now that you've got your power back? The Eight of Pentacles shows you're willing to do the work. But then there's the Seven of Swords, reminding you that your own mind might still be trying to pickpocket your confidence on the way to the finish line. Don't fall for it. Not this time. You're not here to live in fear. You're here to create with fire. Now, Leo, let's talk about your advice spread, because if there's ever been a moment for you to own your flame, it's now. The Queen of Wands is strutting onto the scene like the cosmic embodiment of unapologetic. She's bold, magnetic, creative, and confident without needing a permission slip from anyone. She doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. And neither should you. This is Spirit's way of saying, stop waiting for external validation or someone to name you worthy. You already are. Take your place at the center of your life like the born leader you are. Of course, with that brilliance comes the Seven of Wands, your reminder to protect your peace. The brighter the flame, the more moths it attracts, right? Not everyone will clap for your evolution, especially if it means they can no longer predict or control you. And that's okay. You're not here to play small. You're here to evolve out loud. Then comes the Six of Cups, gently nudging you towards something tender and familiar, an old dream, a forgotten passion, a childhood calling you might have buried under practicality or adulting. Maybe it's teaching, working with kids, or reigniting something you once loved that didn't quite fit into society's box. And sure, people might give you that raised eyebrow look, like, wait, you want to leave your tech job to be a nature camp counselor. But remember, Leo, you weren't born to blend in. You were born to light up the room. The Page of Wands closes this section with one clear message: take the step. Don't wait for applause. Don't wait for certainty. Don't wait for the stars to align in a perfect aesthetic. That first brave action, however imperfect, is the spark that sets your destiny ablaze. And speaking of sparks, cue the Page of Swords and Ace of Swords. This is your mental breakthrough moment. You're gathering intel, challenging old beliefs, and finally seeing through the fog. The universe is about to drop some cosmic downloads that'll make you go, wait, how did I not see that before? That's not failure, that's awakening. That's years of inner work finally cracking the code. And just when you think you've seen it all, along comes the Lady of the Mirror card 44. She's not here to judge. She's here to remind you that every step of your journey matters. The wins, the missteps, the weird detours, and yes, even the time you totally ignored your intuition and said, "It's fine, I'll just settle." All of it belongs. This is your sacred unfolding, Leo. And the mirror? It's not there to criticize, it's there to help you see clearly. So take a long look, smile at who you've become, and whisper, "We're just getting started." Alright, Leo, let's shift gears for a moment from cosmic downloads to earthly magic. Because yes, spiritual alignment is key, but so is taking aligned action, and what better way to do that than with a little manifestation boost? After what felt like a Mercury retrograde in slow motion, I'm thrilled to finally announce that money drawing water is now live in my ETSE shop. And no, this isn't just a jar of good vibes with a fancy label, it's a handcrafted manifestation tool, charged with intention and designed to help you align your energy with prosperity. Each order comes with 3 Foon coins, carefully chosen to represent the sacred trinity of mind, body, and soul, because abundance doesn't just happen on the physical plane, it's a holistic frequency. Now, for my lucky lions, a few orders will include a surprise golden coin, not because you need luck, you're a Leo, after all, but because sometimes the universe likes to show off a little. And yes, you'll also receive money manifestation stickers ideal for your laptop, mirror, phone case, or even your coffee mug. Why stickers, you ask? Because your subconscious mind responds to what it sees over and over. Quantum theory meets fridge decor. You're welcome. Now, let me leave you with this, fellow Leo moon here, so trust me when I say I get it. When a dream feels too big, it's probably because it is, but that's not a reason to walk away. That's your soul calling you upward, not backward. Overthinking? That's the mind doing laps. But your heart? Your intuition? It already knows. You're not stuck. You're at the start of something breathtaking. So trust the vision, Leo. Apply. Create. Speak up. Take the lead. That's the Leo way, fierce, radiant, unapologetic. And if this reading lit a spark in you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Golden Fortune Leo. This is where astrology meets real life, with a dash of humor, a sprinkle of wisdom, and a whole lot of fire. Let's keep evolving together.